We have Mr. Sachit Mehra, who has been elected as the new president of Liberal Party Canada. So it's a matter of great honor and proud for all of us, particularly all those people who have come to Canada as an immigrant. And now in this country, we know that we have lots of member parliaments, we have lots of provincial member parliaments, ministers at federal level, at provincial level, even at municipal level. Many of our community leaders have excelled so much. But this is a new history which has been created recently when Sachit was elected as the president of the Liberal Party. First of all, welcome to Parvasi Media Group.
Thank you so much for having me today. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you to your viewers and listeners for taking a moment to listen in and have our chat with us. And of course, if there's any questions afterwards, they can always send them at sachitmehra.ca. I appreciate everybody here. Thank you for the warm introduction.
Okay. We were so delighted. We were so happy when we came to know that you have been elected as the new president of the party during the last Liberal convention in Ottawa. So tell us your journey. First of all, your parents came to Canada, their journey, and then your journey to reaching to this level.
Thank you so much. My grandma and my dad immigrated to Canada in the late 60s.
Okay.
And at that time, they had really wanted to at that time they had really wanted to meet with members of their own community. And you can imagine in the late 60s in Winnipeg, which is where I'm from, there was literally a handful of people that were from either from India or Kenya or any of these areas, or in the Middle East, and literally 5 or 6 people. And so they had formed a little club just to share food and commiserate over their shared history. And this became slowly over time Manitoba's first Indian restaurant, and they would start that business in the early 70s and late 60s. And from there, we've been in that business now for 3 generations. My grandmother, my parents, and now my siblings and myself, and we have locations in Winnipeg and Ottawa, and almost 100 employees between all those different spots. Our restaurants are called the East India Company. For myself personally, I've been with the business now for 30 years. But as far as the party goes, I got involved with the party when I was just 15 years old. And I came to the party because this was the party that talked about inclusivity and diversity and equity and was a big tent. And so you can imagine back in the late 80s, early 90s, when I was getting involved, that for somebody as a youth in the middle of Winnipeg, as a racialized person, these were incredible ideas and incredible thoughts. And I thought to myself, here's a group of people that are talking about the same things that are important to me. And so I got involved. And at the age of 16, I joined the executive of the Young Liberals here in Manitoba and quickly became the president in the first year. And that was 32 years ago. And, for me wanting to run, it was incredible for me to think that 32 years later, those things that we were talking about when I was 15 years old, inclusivity and equity and diversity, those things were just as important back then as they are now, and maybe they're more important than ever before today. So it was a huge part of my journey. I started campaigning 12 months ago. I traveled around the country. I went all the way from Halifax to BC every point in between. I met with liberals and Canadians, and we talked about the things that were important, the things that were going on in communities, and as an organization, how we could be better ready for elections and making sure that we were bridging inside those different communities. It was fulfilling. It was incredible. And of course, convention was about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And, we had almost 4,000 members from across Canada attend. For a great many of them, it was their first convention. And we had a huge number of people that came out that were young people under 25. And they were really exploring what it is to be a liberal and all those important things that go into that. And so it was very, very fulfilling. Um, I won the election, as you stated. I'm the first South Asian in the history of in Canada to win the post of president. So it's very important for our community as well, and for the first in from the West in decades. In Winnipeg, from Manitoba in the last 60 years, and from the West in general in decades. So it's been a phenomenal journey. I've enjoyed it very much. It's been a very busy last 2 weeks, as you can appreciate, just connecting with groups and talking to folks. And so thank you again for this opportunity.
Okay, and tell us more about your role also as the president of the party. We know leader Justin Trudeau is representing the country as the prime minister, but what is the role of the party president?
Certainly. So the role of the party president is twofold. The first one is an organizational one, is to make sure that our organization is election ready, and everything that means, making sure our EDAs, our different groups across the country are ready, are prepared, have the tools and the resources that they need to make sure we can fight the next election. The other side of the coin for the party president is to be the person that's visible, and around the country and representative of our organization and our community. And so this means traveling into areas, it means talking to folks, doing interviews like this one, and really being available for folks as we go around. So far, I've traveled already to Quebec, Ontario, been around Manitoba, been ready for our by-elections. As you know, we've got 4 of them going on right now, and really communicating and organizing with folks.
Okay, we know that the Liberal Party has always attracted the new immigrants, and they feel so many similarities with the values of Liberal Party and Indians, and particularly the Sikh community, our Indian community, South Asian community. They are inclined towards the Liberal Party. So how much you see that you can put more value into that at this time when hundreds and thousands of more and more international students from India are coming, from South Asia, they are coming, and they can be the future vote bank of Liberal Party.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at the historic role of the Liberal government and the Liberal Party for itself, it's always talked about immigration and being that big tent and the inclusivity and that diversity. And if you go back and you look at the DNA of the Liberal Party of the Canada, what makes it go, this is the party of the anthem. This is the party of the flag. This is the party of the charter of the rights and freedoms. This is the party of immigration. This is the party that brought in all those students that we're talking about. This is the party that's increased immigration numbers to make sure that Canada has all those folks coming in from all over the world and helping. This is the party that has always been core to that value, not because it's fashionable today or outreaching to those communities, but it's because who we are fundamentally as Canadians, and we know that this is good for our economy. We know that it's good for our communities. We know that it's good for the future of Canada.
Okay, at this time when we are having a minority government at the federal level, supported by NDP, we don't know when we can have the next election at the federal level. What is your take on that? How much party ready for that? When you think that we may be going for next election, or you think that this government may pull on for the full term?
As as a president, my role is to make sure that we are election ready at any time. And I can tell you right now we're fighting four by-elections across the country. We have a fixed date election for 2025. We're ready for that. We're working on that. I certainly won't go into what government work is doing. That's government work. But on the party side, I can tell you that we're ready anytime.
Okay, good to know that. Okay, so you have now more responsibilities as the national president of the party. As you said that you have to move around all over the country. So you have to devote a lot of time from your business.
Yes, it's very, very true. I do have to devote a lot of time from the business, and I'm fortunate. First of all, it's not only business, but it's also family. I'm blessed. I've been married for 25 years this upcoming month in June
Okay,
to my lovely
congratulations.
wife Caroline. She's wonderful,
Yeah.
and she's been my partner throughout this, and my rock as we've traveled around the country, and been equal measure in me with me in making calls. Going up to the convention, both Caroline and I made almost 3,000 personal phone calls over that 5-week period to reach out to all those convention goers that were coming around. Our kids are now 23 and 22, and so they're finishing off university, and we're so proud of them and everything that they do. And, it's important that you be at a point in your career where you can put the time and the effort that is required for a position like this, which, as you've stated, requires a lot of travel and a lot of work and a lot of calls and a lot of emails. And I'm blessed to not only be there from a personal standpoint, but also from a family standpoint, which I think in equal measure is important to be able to make sure we put that time and that effort in. And I'm fortunate after 3 generations of family business and having my family involved. Both my mom is still with us, my siblings, my 2 brothers, and my sister to be working in the restaurant along with all our employees that are so long-standing. It's been truly blessed to be at this spot.
Okay, Mehra is a very prominent surname in India, in Punjab. So you still have some roots back home. Do you travel to India sometimes or not?
ਜੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਥੋੜੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਵੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੈਸੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ 30 ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਬਟ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਿਛਲਾ ਟ੍ਰਿਪ 2015 ਚ ਸੀ at that time unfortunately my dad had passed away in 2014 so we had 2014 so we had gone back to India to put his ashes at Haridwar and so that was my last trip there. I will go back. We have roots there in Delhi and Bombay, and it's where we're from. And when I think about India and I think about our spaces there and our family there, it's so close to my heart. Jora twada pishla hai, oh cheez nu tusi kadi nahi bhul sakte.
Bilkul.
And when you go back to that thing, it is so nice and so important.
Okay, and as I said in the beginning, Sachit, that Indian diaspora, they have always quite close relationship, close bonding with the Liberal Party. We are having around 18 to 20, I think, MPs at the federal level, Punjabis or Indian MPs. Most of them are from Liberal Party. We know that some of them are from NDP and Conservative Party also. No question about that. And now with you coming at this level as the party president, I'm not talking only and only in terms of Indians or South Asian. You are representing the whole Liberal Party at the national level, which is a big honor. We understand that. And with you coming at this level, I'm sure Indian community will be more inclined. They are having their own now guy as the leader of the party, president of the party.
I think it's important to be able to present voices and experiences and backgrounds at tables like this, at national tables like this, whether it comes from the South Asian Indian community or the Eastern community in general. I've made a point as I've traveled around Canada to visit all of these communities and these spaces and to connect directly groups on the ground, where they are and when they are, and to be able to talk about that. Of course, being in business from 30 years and being in being of East Indian descent, gives me that experience and it gives me that background to be able to speak from a life experience standpoint in terms of what's going on the ground. But even more so for me, I can only explain personally that when you're in business and you are from that community, you know those things that are going on the ground because you can speak to them knowingly. And I think that's been valuable. And it's all these experiences, whether it's me bringing them in or the MPs that you mentioned bringing them in, or our 158 MPs that we have across the country bringing in those experiences. Those are important and they're valuable. And it's good to be able to add that to the mix. As you said, for sure, it is massive to be the first, historic to be the first South Asian in the history of Canada to serve the role. And I'm very proud and honored and privileged.
Okay, my last question before you go, those people who are, aspiring to be in politics, young generation or people coming to this country as new immigrants, I have been talking to Mr. Ahmed Hussain, he came from that different part of the world, Mary Inc. Our Minister of Transportation, Omar Al Gabra. These are all examples that these people came as immigrants. Their families came to this country as immigrants. Now they have excelled to be the cabinet minister. I mean, that's a great honor. So, what's your message for our young generations, people, new immigrants coming to this country?
So first of all, Minister Hussain, Mr. King, and Minister Olgabra, these are wonderful folks and bring so much value and so much experience to everything that they do, and I'm proud to know them. For the young people that are born here and getting started, or for those that are coming new, what I would say to them is there is so much value in you, your experiences, the voices that you have, the things that you can talk about, the places that you have been, and the experiences that you've had on the ground doing, whether it's education or work or family matter. These are important. Be involved, get involved, have a say. Start at your local EDA, get involved with your local MP, go door knocking, talk to your neighbors, get involved in policy process within the party. You can start at liberal.ca. Everything is there. We want to hear from you. We want to know what's going on in your community, what's going on with your experiences. And there's processes like our policy process, which I just mentioned, that are absolutely fantastic. And you can start talking about things that are important to you, whether it's economic, climate change, local community. These all shape what Canada looks like in the future. And for youth, it's doubly important because if you think about the things that they are getting involved with now and people that are making decisions right now, it's those future impacts of those decisions that are going to affect our youth the absolute most. So you absolutely want to be involved, whether it's at the policy process, at your EDA level, with your MP. Please come be involved. If you want to reach out personally, you can do it at sachitmehra.ca, and I'm happy to help and connect. We absolutely want you involved. You are the future.
Okay, thank you so much. As we say, Canada is a country of opportunities, land of opportunities. We embrace every culture here. It's a multicultural country, diverse country, and with your appointment as the leader of as the president of Liberal Party of Canada, it has proved again that yes, this is the acceptability we get here in this country. You can excel to any level if you have the talent, if you have the skill, and you have proved that, Sachit, and good luck. Thank you so much for talking to us.
आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. आपके जितने listeners हैं, viewers हैं, उनको शुक्रिया. Thank you very much to Abhishek for helping arrange this interview as well. Please reach out anytime. I'm happy to discuss anytime, anywhere. I appreciate you very, very much. Please have a very, very good day.